Hey guys, it's Edward with Reef here. Today I'm setting up my GFO reactor again. My phosphate spiked a bit, so I'm going to get those down to a healthier level. And I thought I'd do a quick how-to video to address the 3 problems that I've run into when I was trying to set up reactors, whether carbon or GFO, and I didn't really find answers online. The first problem is how to prevent the reactors from clogging too early. The second problem is how do I flush the reactor? What's the best way, the most efficient way for me? So I'll go over that. And the third thing is how do I screen the outflow to prevent too much debris and detritus from ending up in the sump? So I'm going to go over those 3 things. Okay, so I've got my Aquaforest AF90 media reactor here filled with used GFO. We're going to be cleaning that out, cleaning the sponges. But first, I just want to mention that I've got a water change prepared here too. And the reason I do that alongside my media changes is because that way I can use 4, 5, maybe 6 gallons of tank water to flush the new media with, straight from the tank through the pump that I normally use to power the reactor. And it's incorporated as part of my water change process. It's a lot easier than trying to mess around with flushing it out in the sink or using RO water and having media get everywhere. So that's what we're doing here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and disassemble the reactor. Now, I recommend having a trash can nearby, although if you can pull the sponges apart separately like I just did, that's fine. But the bulk of that reactor media, you don't want going down your sink. So I've got a little trash can here for this purpose, and what I've done is just gently pulled the stem and sponges out to dump the bulk of that media into the trash can, and then that way you're not clogging up your drains with this stuff. So I'm disassembling the reactor here by pulling the sponges apart. If you'll note, I've really only got a few components here. You've got your top dispersion plate and the sponge that goes in between on the AF90. I've got 2 sponges here, which are going to sit on top of the media, and then I've got 1 bottom sponge here. So it is important on the AF90 to go ahead and disassemble this dispersion plate so that you can really flush these sponges out. And I've found that you can flush these, maybe 2-3 times, and then in my opinion, you might want to go ahead and order some replacement sponges because they just start to get worn out and they just don't allow as much water to pass through. Okay, with the reactor sponges rinsed out and the reactor itself rinsed out, we're good to start reassembling. You'll notice here that there's not too many sponges loaded into this reactor. Too many sponges means your reactor is going to clog too quickly, and that's going to reduce the lifespan. Okay, so I've got the reactor and I'm ready to start flushing the reactor. Okay, so we turn the pump on and we fill the reactor, and you can just see, even against the black bucket, all that brown water that's coming through. That's why we're flushing that media. And it's going to take a little bit to get it all out. Generally speaking, it's going to clog a little bit at the top, pretty much no matter what you do. So I'm going to shake this up a bit to help get that loose. So we can tell now that the rinsing is mostly finished. As you can see, the water inside the reactor is clear. The media down there is tumbling quite a bit. And if we go look in the bucket, even against that black background, you can see all that rust-colored water. Okay, we've flushed the reactor. It's clean. The next thing we're going to do is use this mesh bag. It's a brand called Aquaforest. And it's nice because it's got a little zipper on the end right here by the opening. So we're going to put the hose into the mesh bag. I just want to pause here and add a disclaimer. If you're going to submerge your outflow hose in the sump water, do not use these zipper mesh bags. If you're going to keep it outside like I do, where it sort of hangs over the edge of the sump and drains directly into the return chamber, then they work really, really well. Otherwise, use the drawstring mesh bags from Amazon. Like so. And then we're going to tighten the zipper up against the hose like that. That's going to keep it from easily coming loose. You can pull it if you need to, but just the water flow itself alone is not going to dislodge it. This is really, really important if you're going to be using carbon, especially the ROX 0.8 carbon from BRS. That stuff would end up all over my sump, find its way into my pump components. And it really frustrated me. And it wasn't until I started using this mesh bag that I solved that problem. It's also useful for GFO. When you run this, you're going to find a lot of little particles when you clean this out that's going to be stuck inside of this mesh bag. So that's really, really helpful. Okay, we're going to do a quick check of our flow, and we're looking to see the media moving. Not too fast. I'll probably slow it down just a tad. But keep in mind that as the reactor media ages, you'll have to increase the pump speed to continue getting the kind of flow you need. And as a quick bonus, just in case anyone's curious, I'm powering this reactor with a small Axis 40 pump. It's got a great form factor. That cylindrical shape lets it go into pretty much any small sump space. Okay guys, that's it. It's pretty straightforward. Just to recap, we set up the reactor. We flush the reactor while we're doing a water change to get some of that brown water cleared out before we load it into the tank. And then we put a mesh bag on the end to prevent some of that sediment from escaping into the display tanks. Really useful for the ROX carbon, as I mentioned before. If there's anything else you guys would like to see, let me know. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, drop me a like or a comment. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thanks.